Welcome to another episode of Zero Credibility Sports. We're going to talk about the Champions League quarterfinals. How you doing? I'm your host, Peter. I'm joined with Justin. What's good?
Yo.
So the Champions League quarterfinals results for the first legs for the whole quarterfinal teams just happened today. The second set of results, I mean. And yeah, so all the results are in. So what happened in the first two games? Tottenham versus City at Tottenham's new stadium. Tottenham came up on top, 1-0. Son Heung-min with the solo winner goal of that game. City missed the penalty. Aguero, he missed the early penalty, which what I thought was I don't think that was a penalty in my personal opinion. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it wasn't a penalty. But,
it wasn't a penalty.
But that's the thing, right? Like if you give the Kimpembe penalty, the one that United had against PSG, you have to give this penalty because it's the same situation. But and I said this at the time as well of the Kimpembe one.
Yeah,
I don't agree that this should be a penalty.
No, I agree. And if you watch the game, like I watched the game this morning, and what the commentary said, next year there's going to be a new rule, as in there's going to be a new rule in terms of when it comes to handballs, in terms of hand positioning. Handballs are not going to be given for, they call it like if your hands are placed in a natural position. So like when you're like on the like sliding or when you're jumping, your hands apparently they're going to write up a rule that states that like if your hands within a so-called natural position, you won't get flagged for a penalty. And this was that heated debate that I had with somebody we both used to know, and that was how it led to the show just being me and you now. Right.
Well, okay, I don't know much about that, but I think the rule as it is now in the Champions League, this is not in the EPL, not in the Serie A or whatever. Mm-hmm. But my understanding of the rule now in the Champions League is that if you make your body or any bigger, right? Yeah. With your hands and the ball strikes your hand. Yeah. Right. Then it is a penalty.
Yeah. Yeah. But I tell you what, you were saying that like, to keep it consistent, then they're not going to give a penalty. Actually, in the United Barcelona game, there was a moment where I think the ball hit. Yeah, it was United. I think it was from a corner or something. A ball hit one of a Barcelona players on the hand, and it wasn't given.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that because coming off of this City game, right? Coming off this tournament, I think there were a few other instances in a few of the other games where, like this is called into question again. And I think we'll touch on that when we talk about those games. But I think in this game in particular, like I don't think it should have been a penalty. Like
I don't so too.
There was no. It was more, I guess, if you want to put it, ball to hand than anything else. And the problem I have with it, and if what you say is true, right, if that's the rule that they're going to implement next season, the problem I have with that rule is that whenever you look at anything in slow motion, it always looks more deliberate than it actually is.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I feel that controversy will still be there.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel that gray area will still be there. And I feel that it potentially can be abused in the sense that some people, like players, could just use the defense, saying, "Look, that was just the natural position of my hand. I'm just using it to balance." Having said that, I think there does need to be a rule that needs to take into account ball to hand situations, because I don't feel ball to hand should warrant penalty.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think this will be interesting. I want to see how they implement this, new policy for handballs.
It'll be interesting to see as well the different interpretations, because VAR is coming into most major leagues next season, right? Mm-hmm. And we all know, like currently as it is, right? Like when you play in the Premier League compared to when you play in the Champions League, even without VAR, right? The rules are slightly different, right? Yeah. Champions League, they're a bit more strict on fouls. They're a bit more. How to say it? The game is a bit more. The referees let fewer things go. Put it that way.
Yeah,
right?
Remember, I think a few years. I mean, from me watching it, in the Premier League, when you go for it, you can your feet could be a bit higher. But when it comes to the Champions League, you always say, oh, the boot's too high. This is not the Premier League. You can't do it. You can't do stuff like this. So yeah, the rules are slightly different. Definitely, the nuance of the game is slightly different. And I think
so. It'll be interesting to see the interpretations next season on this handball thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think we both agree that was a penalty. But that being said, were you surprised with the result?
I was surprised at the result because I thought Sydney would win. I was surprised at how poorly they played, actually, in the sense that they didn't create that many chances.
Yeah. People, I mean, if you from watching the game, I was surprised that City left De Bruyne out. They started with Gundogan, Fernandinho, and David Silva. So it was and then after the game was done, Pep Guardiola said, "Yeah, it was on purpose. We wanted to control the midfield. We thought we controlled the game really well." Which I think you could argue that they did. I think they actually controlled the game, even though they didn't create many chances. They kept the ball well.
Yeah, and that's why I said I was surprised at how poorly they played in terms of they didn't create many chances. I mean, them leaving De Bruyne out, I think it's not a big deal. I mean, De Bruyne has been out most of the season anyway. He's only come back in the past 2-3 weeks, and that midfield of David Silva, Gundogan, and Fernandinho has been working for all season, and plus they're playing away. Mm-hmm. So I think that selection, all that is no big deal.
Yeah,
I just think that
conservative. He's just being conservative.
Yeah, maybe I should be giving more credit to, I guess, how well Spurs defended, more so than the fact that City didn't create that many chances. But I guess that's just testament to how well I think City have done this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think something to note is that Harry Kane got injured, and I don't think he'll be making the next game.
It looks like a bad one, actually.
Looks like he came out from the game wearing a space boot. So I think I think Poch said that I think it's very likely that Kane's out for the season. So they'll turn up. It would be tough, for Spurs, Premier League, their race for the top 4 race, and now the Champions League as well, because now they have to rely on either Llorente to play up top or Lucas Moura, which some of the pundits have touted, to play in the next leg already. So I think it'll be interesting, or maybe even Son. Son might be the guy leading the line. But I think
Son will definitely be the guy. I mean, this is not the first time Kane has been out injured this season, right? Yeah. This is the second time he's been out injured this season. And when Kane got injured the last time, who was the guy that stepped up?
Son.
Yeah. But I mean, who was the guy that told you, Peter, before that happened, to get him into your fantasy team?
No, you told me that earlier on. You told me that
1 week earlier.
You want a tip?
Literally 1 week earlier.
Yeah, still okay, but what if I put in 1 week early?
I give you a hot tip. Get Son. Okay. I remember saying that. I said, I'll give you a hot tip. Get Son.
No, so you still think they're gonna perform in the Premier League with just Son? I don't think so. I think now that Kane's out, I'm quite confident that they will make top 4.
That they will not?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know because it's one of those things where I'm not sure because they've proven before already, without Kane we can still win, right? Because I think
they had a really tough period. They lost to Southampton, lost to Burnley,
but that's more recent, right?
Yeah, okay.
So that's more recent, and that's with Harry Kane, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And the thing is every team goes through a blip anyway, right? Yeah. But regardless, right? They've proven this season already, we can win without Harry Kane, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We're good enough to win without Harry Kane, right? Yeah. But the thing is, I think
But these are against the very best teams, you know. These are against like the top teams of the league. They're gonna face Chelsea. No, they're not gonna face Chelsea. Sorry, they're gonna face City again.
Yes.
And they're gonna face
this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, they're facing them City again, and then they're gonna face teams like Everton. They're gonna face City, Everton. That's it. They're gonna face City 3 times, and they're gonna face Everton.
Yeah, but they're going to face it 3 times. Twice of that is going to be in Champions League, right? One of them is going to be in the league.
Yep.
And that league matchup, I think, is this weekend, and they're coming off a win without Harry Kane.
Yep.
So, like I said, I think the Spurs team, right? Yep. And I've said this in one of the previous ones.
Mm.
They don't rely on one player, right? This team works as a team. Like the team is more than the sum of its parts, and a lot of that credit is due to the coach, right? It's due to the manager, right? So, having said all that, in terms of their ability to sustain a top 4, I know I tip them with you as well, as in like I think, I said that I can see them slipping out in the top 4. It could be because they have so much focus on the Champions League that they just, take their eye off the ball in the league.
Yeah, could be. I just think that they have a real thin squad. I agree with you. Like, they're definitely a benefit. Like, but their system's good and their coach is good. But I'm a bit more like on the side of that. Like Kane is still a big part of their team. If you're gonna put like the whole load on Son for like these next 2 games and all the other Premier League games, I don't think there will be enough firepower. Like my personal opinion, but we'll see. So I think let's talk about the second leg. Let's actually fuck it. Let's talk about the Premier League. What do you think is gonna happen in the Premier League game? You think they're gonna rest any players, or both teams are gonna play the same team? I think
you can't afford. I think you can't afford to rest players.
No,
I think you can't afford to rest players.
I think
both teams.
Yeah, both teams can't. That's why I think so too. I think City definitely can't because they're playing now. I mean, even though like Liverpool would played 1 game more and they're on top of the table, psychologically they would want to make sure they're on top. After as soon as possible. So, but for me, it's just like. Tottenham, would they consider, because they're 1-0 up now, they're 1-0 up, would they considering resting the players so they're fresh for the second leg? I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think you're right in the sense that they do have a thinner squad, but I also think that they can't afford to quote unquote rest players because they still have a lot on the line in the league.
True,
right?
True.
Like at this point today, right now, I think the league is as important in Champions League for them right now. So if it's as important, that means that they cannot afford to rest players.
The reason why I agree with you, I mean, I feel like they don't. I don't think. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Pochettino doesn't think the Champions League is important. He obviously thinks it's very important. But I bet you, when they lose, Pochettino is going to say this: our team was not built to win the Champions League. Our target is to make the top 4. So I think that's Pochettino's main target, main goal, main objective. It isn't even on equal planes that we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean I agree with that. I think most people will say that Spurs are not going to win the Champions League this season. Yeah. So if they go at this stage, it's not going to be.
It's quite noble. It's noble. It's like
it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think the focus is definitely. Like over the course of the entire season, their focus is more on the league than on the Champions League for sure. I think you're absolutely right. But I think, like I said, right now, both companies are equally important for them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen in the league? You reckon City is gonna get?
I don't want to talk about the league. Let's talk about
second leg. Let's talk what's gonna happen in the city of Manchester Stadium. Come next week.
I think City will still go through.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think City will go through. I don't know. I have a funny feeling that I think it will be like something like a 1-1 draw, and they'll go, or like a 2-1 City win, and they'll get through on away goals. I don't know, because like City, I mean Tottenham did a great job by making sure they didn't concede an away goal. So yeah, I could see it happening. I could see it
Yeah.
happening.
The thing about like I know we haven't spoken about all the results, but the thing about this I think this round of Champions League and the last round of Champions League, and actually this season of the Champions League as a whole, right? But
Yeah.
specifically this round and last round,
Yeah.
I think it's been so good.
It's
Champions
so
League this
good.
season.
This Champions League is
In the
so
sense that like
good.
the fact that there's especially this knockout stage, they're over 2 legs.
Yeah.
And in a majority of games, it's like every team still has a chance to go through.
No, I agree.
Right?
I don't know
where it's like it's truly like after the first leg ends, it's truly like, well, this is only the halfway stage. There's still
except the Liverpool Porto game.
still work to done. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that one. But
three out of four, there's still
and the last round as well. Where like this season of Champions League has been so good. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's been like a real treat for us in terms of the Champions League this year. And for me, like this is the year where I've been watching a lot more. I think it's because of the timing, and I don't know. It's just more investment, I guess, because of the change of coach and so on. And for United, and I think So shall we move on to the next result then? Let's talk about
So do you think who is going through, Spurs or City?
Okay, this one, like, I'm gonna okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna go Tottenham. Like, I think City is more likely gonna win, but like, I'll say Tottenham. I think I believe there's a strong chance that Tottenham can go through on away goals, even though without Kane. As long as they keep it tight, like this game. Yeah, I believe that it could happen. Let's talk about the Liverpool Porto game. This one will be a much shorter segment. Quite straightforward win from Liverpool at Anfield, 2-0. Keita performed really well, and Firmino with an amazing, not amazing. Sorry, there was a good team play, good build-up play, and then there was a good goal. I think the good talking segment for this point was when Klopp came out and said that I should have been playing. I want to apologize to Henderson for playing him in the number 6. He's actually a really good number 8. And I watched the match and I was like, really?
That's kind of bullshit.
A really good number 8. I was like, bro, even though he's up further up the field, he still plays the same amount of sideways passes. He just played
He played it forward for the goal.
Yeah, he played. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying except for the goal, the majority of his passes are still sideways. You know what I mean? Or backwards. So yeah. If Henderson is going to be your number 8 for your first team, you're not going to win the league. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's what I think. But it's a bit different, right? Because I think Henderson is a sort of player that Klopp likes to play in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because he provides stability in that midfield. He's a guy that is not he's not going to be fancy. He's not going to be whatever. But that he's going to do a solid job, especially defensively.
Yeah.
He's always going to be in position. He's always going to snap into tackles. He's always going to try and intercept. And if he gets the ball, he's going to give it to someone who can use it better than he can.
Yeah.
So I think Henderson is very well suited for their Champions League style of play, which is different from their league style of play. For this Liverpool Porto game, I think this is one game where both in the result and the performance is the most clear. We know who's going to go through. At the end of this, it was we all knew who the favorite was at the start of the game. It was reinforced during the game. Blah 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 blah. So I think this was quite straightforward, very clear Liverpool win. There was, I'm not sure if you recall, there was a handball in this game.
Yep.
Lovren.
Yep.
From a corner.
What do you think?
It was
Penalty or no
reviewed on
penalty?
it was reviewed on VAR, and the ref did not give the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, I don't understand.
How
Like,
can
I don't
you give
understand.
how can you give Kembepe? Like, is it Kembepe? I don't know his name. I can't remember.
Kimpembe.
Kempembe, and you don't give that.
And this one, like, and the one at the Spurs one was what? Was it Danny Rose?
Danny Rose sliding down, sliding.
Yeah. Like, how can you give those, right? And not give the Lovren one? I understand it's a different situation when the Kimpembe one and the Rose one is when they're flying out to block, right?
Yeah.
And their hand is like flailing, and this one, if anything, this one's worse because it's from a corner and the ball drops. Someone misses the head and the ball drops. It hits him in the hand.
Shout out Ellison. Ellison was saying, you have to judge him on his intention. That wasn't his intention. That's all he's telling me all morning. But okay.
But the thing is that, like, if the rule was right, like we mentioned just now, the rule was if at any point you make your body bigger
with your hands,
right? Yeah, and it hits your hand, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
That fits the description on this case as well.
Perfectly well. No, I agree with you. I think
but the thing is, it was reviewed on VAR. It wasn't like people didn't notice.
Yeah.
It was reviewed on VAR and it was deemed not a penalty.
Different ref, I guess. I don't know.
But that's the thing, right? It's like,
yeah, I know. According to the rules that you just stated, it definitely should have been a penalty. But then you can argue for the one at the United Barcelona game as well. But so I think this rule change.
We'll get there slowly.
That's why I really wanna. That's why I can't wait for. I want to see what happens next year in the next year's Champions League. You know, because I think ever since the introduction of VAR, you see more like these handball penalties being given.
Yeah. And the thing is that the interpretation of the rule is not clear.
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah, like that was it. Like if that penalty was given, like then like if Porto loses 2-1, then there's still like Porto has a chance.
Yeah,
but it's 2-0, and also the fact that it was a very convincing performance by Liverpool. I think Liverpool will go to Portugal and they'll go through.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shall I move to the games that happened this morning?
Yep.
Let's start with Ajax Juventus. So the game started off with both teams keeping the ball decently well. Nothing, not any real action if you think about it. Then Ronaldo scored in the 45th minute. It was a great ball by I can't remember. Is it Cancelo? By one of the backs, if I'm not mistaken, and Ronaldo with like a darting header. And just so everyone knows, Ronaldo just came back from injury as well. He was injured. He was injured in the. Was he injured in the? He was injured in a league game. In a league game. And so he was rushing back for fitness. So it was. I think he made it back earlier than expected for this game, and he, scored. He scored and that was the only shot on target made by Juventus, and it was that.
They had other chances though.
Yeah, but
there's only shot on target, but there are other chances.
True. There were a lot of shots that just flew just wide, and I think. But still, I thought it was a very unconvincing performance. Or maybe you could argue that Ajax were better. But from watching the game, I just think that it's a testament to what I thought at the start of the season, that Juventus are not as good as everyone think they are. I think there's still a lot of I don't think that team is filled with superstar X factor quality. I think they have very good above average players as a collective, with Ronaldo with the X factor. But that's about it, Everyone talks about, Dybala and all, but they don't even play Dybala. Allegri likes to play Ronaldo, Mandzukic on top with Bernardeschi. I watched the AC Milan Juventus game, and it was the same, they didn't play Ronaldo. They played Dybala, but they took Dybala off.
Because Allegri has some beef with Dybala, right?
Is that I don't know if there's beef, because I think he prefers, Mandzukic, Bernardeschi, and whoever else he plays up there. I can't remember who else he played up there, but he's just like not really a fan for some reason. I don't think there's beef. I didn't read anything about them having beef, and come the second half, Ajax like scored straight away. I think it was a mistake by Cancelo. He was controlling a ball, and then Neres took the ball and made an amazing run and curled it past Szczesny. So then after that, it was just like
and Szczesny dived for it after the ball went in already.
Yeah.
In case you didn't notice that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's quite tough, right? You didn't expect him to curl it past, beat two players.
I think he was unsighted actually. Like, if you look at it from his perspective, he was unsighted. Yeah.
Yeah, because the ball he manages to wrap his foot around it at the very end. Just when the ball.
I mean, there was another defender that came and covered, so he couldn't actually see it. He couldn't actually see the ball being hit.
Yeah, so he curled it around the defender.
Yeah, it's just that Szczesny, I remember when he was at Arsenal.
Yeah, no, but he's improved. I think after watching the AC Milan Juventus game, he's definitely improved. But I think you would agree with me. I don't think he's like a Juventus. He's not
tier one.
Yeah, he's not tier one. After you lose Buffon, I'm not saying Buffon. To be fair, Buffon has dropped, his ability has dropped over the last 2 to 3 years, in my opinion. And yeah, I still think, but even then, I still think Buffon is better than Szczesny. So I think I actually thought the keeper that they signed, Perin, from, I think they signed him from Genoa. They signed him somewhere from the Serie A, and I thought he was a very good keeper. And from the games I watched Juventus play, but I was just surprised that they played Szczesny instead. But yeah, anyways, Ajax had 19 shots and 6 shots on target. Juventus had 7 shots and 1 shot on target, and Ajax controlled possession, which I was quite surprised. But then again, Ajax is filled. This Ajax team, like we said, I feel they have a real talented. They have a real talented core this year. I mean, and it was probably the last time we'll see of them wearing an Ajax shirt after the season. So I think the talking points would definitely be what's going to happen in the second leg in Turin.
No, I think there's more to talk about in this game, and which I think, when I saw this game, I thought it was very interesting because this game is a very interesting clash of styles. Juventus are going to be Juventus in the sense that they are coached by an Italian as well. So no matter what they say, no matter what people say, right?
Yeah.
It still rings true. The Italians will play a very a game that's quote unquote defensive.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to say defensive is actually not the right word, but I think it's a word which most people can understand. Where they play a game which is focused more on we try to keep possession, or it's more containing game. They try to contain more so than anything else.
Speaking that football manager lingo. Whereas
Ajax play a very high tempo, high pressing game. Yeah. So, a la Barcelona in the Pep era, right? Mm-hmm. Where, and this is from the defensive side, this from a defensive perspective, not attacking perspective, where when they don't have the ball, right, they'll come up to you, their back line will push into the opposing half, and they'll push, so basically defend from the front.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they'll do, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that they can do that is because this Ajax team is very young, and they have energy. They can,
but everyone else is, They're like Neres, Ziyech, Sean, De Jong. No, not Sean, but De Jong, De Ligt. Blind isn't young, but the core, the general young core, the young talents of the team, they're young.
Yeah. So what this means, right? What this means is because of Ajax's style, right? Ajax will never blow someone away.
Yeah.
Right. They won't go to. They won't play this amazing free flowing football. Then they're going to score 3, 4, 5, 6 goals every game, like how Man City does. They're not going to blow you away. Maybe they do it in Serie A, right? But maybe because they're they've got maybe a bit weaker opposition, right?
Yeah.
And I know they beat Atletico Madrid 3-0 as well, by the way, in the last leg to come back. But that was all Ronaldo, just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I thought from a tactical point of view was this is very, very interesting because it's a clash of two very opposite styles, right? So, when you say like, oh, I don't agree that this Juventus team is that good. I don't agree that they win Champions League. Blah, blah, blah. I understand why you say that, and I don't necessarily disagree, but I wouldn't write them off.
No,
because they play this style, and just because it's a certain style that they play does not mean they're not very good. I think they're a good team. Whether they win Champions League, I'm not sure. I think I probably rate their chances higher than you do.
No, I think, that's a very accurate way of pointing it. No, I don't think that they're bad, but I just think that I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say what which I think so too. I think Juventus has been a team over the last 2-3 seasons under Allegri, who's been the type of team that, like you say, don't blow anyone away, but they, find a way to go through their containing, safe kind of style, like you don't risk it, not like we risk everything just to score a goal type of thing, but rather we, very controlled attacks, very they like to press in specific spots of the pitch rather than a high up. We press,
yeah, they won't press you immediately once the goal kick. As soon as the goal kick plays short, Bernardeschi is not up there to press the fullback. That's not going to happen, right? That's not the way they play. That's not the game plan. Whereas Ajax played this way. Because that's the game plan of Ajax, and also because they have the personnel to do it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think, like you said, I think it's a very interesting matchup, and the result was, I thought, it's going to make the second leg very interesting.
Yes, it is. This is very Ajax gave such a good, if they haven't already from the last leg, right, from the last round.
Yeah,
gave such a good account from themselves in this round and this first leg. Although the goal did come from a mistake.
Yeah.
I think they made like 2 or 3 more chances. Aside from that,
good football. Good wing play.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're dangerous. They play. They're not afraid to play.
Yeah.
I think
so. If I was Juventus, I would be. I think amongst all the 4 teams left in this competition, all the 8 teams left in this competition, I would be the most concerned about playing my second leg at home.
Yeah.
Because I think that this Ajax team, can hit me on the counter-attack. Because, especially in the Champions League, you play different home and away.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So now Juve is taking an away goal advantage.
Yeah.
Back to Juventus Stadium, right?
Yeah.
I would be concerned about Ajax's ability to score 2 goals.
Yeah.
Or rather to score the 1 goal that will even up the away goals and then score another goal to win. Yeah. So because of the style that they play, where they can and they're not afraid to hit you in the counter attack. And also I think Ajax, the players themselves, they're playing with a sense of, and I think it's quite obvious, right? Like you can see it. They're playing with a sense of freedom, right? This freedom of, there's no expectations on us to win, to be any of these teams.
Yeah. But
we want to go out and play.
Yeah,
we're just going to play. That's it. That's all we're doing, right? And I think you can see from the way that they play, the way that they move the ball, the way that they react when they score, the way that they react when they miss. The way, also you can see they're just it's the purest sort of I'm just out here playing for fun.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I don't think you have to say any further than the fact that they beat Real Madrid 4-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu. So I don't think they're worried about going to Turin to perform. Yeah.
So, this matchup, like the 3 others aside from Liverpool and Porto, is finely balanced.
Yeah.
And I think, conventional wisdom, conventional money would say Juventus go through. Mm-hmm. But I would put. I think this is the matchup that's most likely to have an upset, I think.
Fair enough. Agreed. Shall we move on to the last match?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. United Barcelona. United lost the match 1-0 at Old Trafford due to a Luke Shaw own goal / maybe it could potentially have been a Suarez goal.
Coutinho goal.
Coutinho didn't touch the ball.
I mean, yeah, but it was. I mean, if Luke Shaw didn't touch it, Coutinho would just hit it anyway.
True. So I watched. This was the game where I spent most of my eyes on, and to tell you what, I was actually pleasantly surprised that we had periods in the match where the ball was in Barcelona's half and they were like struggling, and this was like the second half of the first half and the first half of the second half, and then after the last 15 minutes, Barcelona kept the ball and we struggled to break them. I think we just ran out of gas. And we just lacked that quality, which we have been lacking over the last few weeks in terms of being at home, actually, because we haven't scored. I think there's a very telling stat of like United's performance at home in the Champions League this season. I don't think it's been great.
Yeah, I think that telling stat is that the only goal that's been scored by United at home this season has been scored by Marouane Fellaini.
Okay, yeah, that's that telling stat. And but after watching the game, I this is my hot take. I think this is United's best performance against Barcelona over the last 4 meetings that we had with them. And this was not that 1-0 victory which Paul Scholes scored, but this was that 0-0 draw we had at Old Trafford and the 2 Champions League finals that we had. Because let's face it, the 2 Champions League finals that we had, we didn't really trouble them at all. Whereas in this game, we kind of did, but we just didn't. You could argue that we didn't take those chances. There were people bringing up, Diego Dalot should have scored. But I thought that was quite a tough header.
Should have scored.
You reckon?
At the very least, should have
on target
had a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if his intention was to put it back across goal.
I don't
know if his intention was to put it back across goal, or if he just messed up the direction of his header.
For me, I thought Anthony Martial's run at full pace, and then he just knocked the ball too far, so Ter Stegen picked it up. I thought that should have been that was the chance.
That's like 75% of Martial's. That's what he does, right? Like he'll run with the ball, and then he'll have a loose touch, or he'll just lose it.
Toe punt it. He took an extra touch, and I was like, why didn't you just fucking toe punt it? But I thought it was an exciting game. It was actually quite an exciting game. Obviously, the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is going to be just like the PSG game. We don't get much of the ball. They're just going to keep on lumping it up, and we have to hold on to that pressure. And then when the goal happened, for me, the first thing that ran through my head was why do you play Luke Shaw as the left center back of the back three? That was for me. It was why him? Why there? And for me, that was maybe Solskjaer's got it wrong. But then come the second half of the first half, I started seeing why, and I thought the system fit perfectly well. Fred, this was the best game Fred has played in a United shirt. Scott McTominay,
McTominay had a good game. Yeah,
he had a fucking awesome. I used to think of him as a poor man's Michael Carrick in a sense, where he does the same thing in terms of interception, but he has a bit more energy about him. But he wasn't that
range
good.
Though.
Yeah, no passing range, exactly. So I just thought this guy's a poor man's Michael Carrick. But then after watching this game, this guy, I didn't realize how big he was. He's 6'3". He's a big guy, but yet he can kind of move. He kind of can dance. He can move the ball decently well. I'm not saying he's a dribbler, but he can kind of drive the ball up. Okay, I don't want to use Yaya Toure, but he's the best example. Where you're big and lanky, but you can kind of dribble the ball. Typically you think tall people, they don't move the ball well, i.e. Mandzukic, Fellaini, stuff like this. But he can move. He's quite mobile. But like you said, you could say no passing range, but I was quite surprised with his passing this game. But still, the biggest surprise for me was, I think, Fred. Fred, I think if he can continue the performance he brought in today, I could see him as a very useful piece in the puzzle. Personal opinion. I thought the poor players from our end were Diogo Dalot, very nothing special. But then again, it's his first season. Luke Shaw, after the goal, was very strong. Chris Smalling was actually... I've never seen Chris Smalling so aggressive before. Do you see the tactics of Messi?
I mean, he asked Messi to bring it on, so...
Yeah. And the way he performed, it was like, fuck, I told him to turn it on, so I better, be extra tough today. That's how I felt. If you watch the game, you will feel that energy about Smalling. Smalling came in with like that extra toughness. And you could tell, I mean, for me, the way I looked at it, I was like, man, this guy is doing a bit extra today. But yeah,
he was up for the game, and I think it's one of those things. I think all players, this sort of game, you're always up for it, right?
True.
So this game, I think, this game was very funny. It's very funny because the reaction on this game is very split, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one hand, a lot of people are upset. A lot of fans are upset that United didn't create a lot of opportunities. So that's one thing.
I think they created opportunities, but they didn't create good opportunities.
Okay. So yeah, same. So basically United didn't create opportunities. So that's one thing. But the other thing is I feel like on the other hand, there's a set of fans who are kind of happy because the expectation was that, or rather there was this feeling that Barcelona could just like have their way with us.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that
I don't like
United
the way
controlled large parts of that game. United controlled large parts of that game. United definitely started off slow, that's for sure. But they controlled large parts of the game. And even though, yes, they didn't create much, the fact of the matter is that Barcelona did not create much either.
Agreed.
And so, I think if you look at, especially, and I've said this all season, right? Where United's biggest issue is their defense, right? So if you look at the fact that our defense was not bothered that much by Barcelona, who I think a lot of people tip as maybe the favorite or the second favorite to win the tournament this season, right? That says a lot. And the fact that there's not many teams that can say, oh, we played against Barcelona and we controlled the game.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a group of fans that were very positive about that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said this game is quite difficult for me to really understand how to feel, because I can see the merits of the argument of both sides and the feelings on both sides. Regardless of all that, though, United still lost, and I think that it was I think it was probably the expected outcome of most people. But I think it's just the nature of the performance that is, for me, a bit confusing.
Yeah. I think after what you brought up, I think from watching the game, I just think that, I think a lot of people expected Barcelona to win. I thought we had more of a chance than what a lot of the people were saying, like, Barcelona were going to, trounce us. Or, when the lineups were announced, there was a bit of a, not uproar, but there was like, what? We're playing McTominay, we're playing Fred, we're playing Diogo Dalot. What's going on, People were a bit like, questioning, we're playing Lukaku as well. So there was a bit of a, like at the start, a bit of jitters, okay, it's over. Barcelona are going to trounce us. What's the point of even watching the game? And if you watch the game, after the goal, it made me start thinking, maybe Solskjaer is actually, I'm not saying he's a tactical genius, don't get me wrong, but he's got a bit of tactical nous,
I mean, when I saw that United were playing 5 at the back, immediately I thought of Mourinho. Like this is something that Mourinho would do.
Exactly.
And the thing is, for me, because the game happened this morning, I didn't manage to watch the game. I watched the highlights, but I'm sort of thinking like, I still haven't sort of really understood yet why you would play 5 at the back.
Okay.
There's obviously a reason.
I can try.
I just haven't thought of the reason yet.
I from watching it, I think what they tried to do is make sure. Obviously, I mean, like I'm not like a pro at this, but like Suarez, whenever Messi came, it's very hard. How do you explain it? Because the way Barcelona play, they like to get they like to rely on the front three to stretch the field of play, and that's Coutinho, Suarez, and Messi, right? So Busquets, Rakitic, and Arta would play a ball to them three, and those three would play within them three. It's like quite a bit of a free form up the front. And a lot of the times the reason why they have three in the middle is to kind of force these players out wide. And whenever they force them out wide, like for example, if Luke Shaw is isolated against Messi, Smalling will come up to kind of like deter Messi from getting into the center. So I think one of the main tactics was to keep Messi out on the wing and Coutinho as well. So I thought I don't know. I thought they could like United. You could argue they didn't control the game, but I think they controlled what Barcelona could do to them really well. And I think the combination of Fred and McTominay was done really well. Like Fred won a lot of balls. If you have time, you should really watch the game. Or like if the game ever pops up, you should just like sit down and watch like bits of it, because I was very impressed with Fred and McTominay.
I mean, from what I saw, like it did seem to me that McTominay was it looked to me like the best player on the night, the best player on
United side.
The best player on United side on the night. I think for me it was pretty clear. The one thing that I did, I'm not too sure as well. Like, how did Pogba play? Because he definitely did not appear very involved.
The highlight. Okay, from watching the game, I tell you what, like Pogba he did have some defensive bits, but most of the the action from Pogba, from what I've seen, was that he was more, involved in getting trying to put that final ball through. And I tell you what, Pogba is really switched on. Whenever he gets the ball, he knows what he's going to do. So he was quite dangerous in that regard. He made forward runs when he could, and I think he did well. He did he get a 6 out of 10 for me, I think. But then again, you also you have to understand that he didn't get the ball that much. So I think So it was a game more suited for Fred and McTominay and Rashford, because whenever they get the ball, that's where these players, would rely on. They would rely on sending the ball to Rashford to kind of like Rashford or Lukaku to kind of like stretch the play, and that's when they would try to put Pogba or get them involved. But if you watch the highlights, you've probably seen every time Rashford gets the ball, he tries to shoot it from wherever he is.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, like, because obviously the game plan was to defend, rather stay compact, stay tight, right? We nullify the attack and we try to hit it on the break. I think that was the game plan. I think that's pretty clear. So when you have a game plan like that, like, you're not surprised that Lukaku's starting, because you get the ball up to him, he holds the ball up for support to come, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he did not bad. I think he did not bad. I think everyone who played did not bad. But like you said, I think after watching this game, it was quite telling that what we lack. I can kind of like get into like, I think I know what United lack, and I think we'll do this in the coming episodes. Yeah.
But regardless, getting back to the game, fan reaction is mixed, right? My reaction is I still haven't thought enough about it or looked enough into it to really sort of have a clear idea. But what I will say is this: I think this is another one of those games where the end of the first leg, it's only halftime. I think a lot of people have encouragement that United can go to the Nou Camp and get a result.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think they will because it's hard to beat Barcelona at home.
Yeah.
But I think that there's no, how to say, it's not like,
it's not
there is a possibility that United can still go through here.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, like, in terms of the Champions League, especially this round, right?
Yeah.
Spurs, City, Ajax, Juventus, Man United, Barcelona, all of them, you would give the quote unquote losing team, i.e. City, who lost against Spurs, i.e. Juventus, who drew with Ajax but got the away goal, and i.e. Man United, who lost against Barcelona. Like, all of the quote unquote losing teams could still go through.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, there's a very realistic, credible chance that they can go through. Yeah,
I personally think that, like, I think we actually have a good chance if you watch the whole game. I think this supports my call at the start. I don't think Barcelona is as strong as you think they are, in my personal opinion, because if you watch the game, the team was very reliant on Suarez and Messi. Coutinho has not been playing well for Barcelona the whole season, and he did not really do well.
Yeah, I was surprised he started this game, actually.
Yeah, no, but I understand why he started, because he's been in the team recently. I think he scored one of the games over the last 2 games. I think he scored in one of them. And Ousmane Dembele has just came back from injury. And Arthur, very unimpressive. Busquets lost his legs. Rakitic had a really surprisingly quiet game, because for me, he is Barcelona's best midfield player. In defense, Gerard Piqué, I don't know, from watching him over the years, I think he had a really good game. Gerard Piqué had a really good game. Semedo was nervous, and Langley, is it Lang? He's French, so the
French guy.
Whatever. The French guy, he was the weak link. And Jordi Alba.
But whatever the case with Barcelona, right? Even when they were even with that team, right, that won everything, right? Their defense has never been their strongest part of their team. But the reason that they were able to win games is because their attack and their midfield was so strong, right? So I'm not too concerned about, or rather, I'm not like, they have a weak defense, so blah blah blah.
No, but the midfield is not strong anymore.
No, I mean, I understand that
over the last 3-4 years. So that's why I think. This is why I still think Liverpool and Man City are the stronger teams in the Champions League.
I mean, maybe I'm not sure how, especially now as things are shaping up in the domestic leagues. Like Barcelona are Champions League in Spain.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas City and Liverpool, in fact, all the English clubs, regardless who goes, all the English clubs still have a lot to play for in their leagues.
Yeah.
So the further that they go, the more it will be every game is a very important game, right?
True.
Like even if Liverpool play Huddersfield in the next game, right? Like
they're
Liverpool
playing everyone. Playing the first team.
Like they have to win that game.
And
you know what I mean?
They probably have to score a lot of goals as well, just to strength, just in case it will
just
go down.
Catch up on the goal difference. Yeah, like they have to win that game. So especially if you look at someone like Juventus, who they are Champions League in, I think they're 17 points ahead in the league or something. They're Champions League in Italy.
AC Milan 4th place, and they're 32 points ahead of AC Milan.
I think Juve are 17 points ahead of the 2nd place or something like that. Something along those lines. But
oh my God, 32 points away. Fuck, that's like 10. That's 10 games. 10 more
but whatever the case, like Juventus have won the league, right?
Yeah.
So all they have to worry about is the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
Barcelona, most likely they're gonna win Premier
they are. They are. It's settled.
So they don't have to worry about that. They only have to worry about Champions League.
Yeah.
Right. So like that. I think that will play its part in due course, come the semis and come the final.
Yeah. You could argue both ways, right? You could obviously also say that, match rust, concentration rustiness. It goes both.
No. I don't think when you play in the Champions League, I don't think there's such things, especially at the the final 2 rounds. I don't think there's such thing as like rustiness. Like, how is there rustiness? You've played the entire season up to that point. Like, there's no rustiness.
No. Like, for example, you rest your players from like the game before, and they played that that weekend. Whereas like the other team might have just had a intense game, so they're up for it. They're just like, oh, we just beat that team. We have that belief. Whereas this team, we have.
I don't think so. I think you would always prefer. You would always prefer the. I mean, don't forget, like, yeah. I mean, when you say break, it's not even a break. The break is like,
training.
We're playing Wednesday. Like, we're playing Wednesday, like Champions League, and then we're gonna play next week Wednesday Champions League. So we have 1 week. So we have 6 days off.
Yeah.
Instead of playing like Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday,
yeah, I know.
It's not even a break. You know what I mean? It's not like they're off for like 1 month and they come back.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, you get them. I think, like, you could argue both ways. I just think that.
No, I don't think so. I think there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. After they played 70 games up to this point, and you're saying like, no, they would prefer to play more games to stay focused.
I'm prefer to play more games. I'm saying that, like, you could always argue, like, when a team, comes back from like they have more break time and they play and they lose, that people say, oh, well, it must have been not say rustiness, but like, they haven't had that intensity. They have they might have extra time to train and practice.
I think if you're playing in the Champions League semi-final or the Champions League final, you're not gonna miss, like, no player is going to be, mentally not there, because this is the pinnacle competition. Like, aside from the World Cup, right? The UEFA Champions League is probably the most prestigious football tournament there is.
Yeah, some would even argue that a Champions League is more important than a World Cup.
Yeah, some would argue that. Some would be wrong, but some would argue that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not get into this. We can get into this another time because I have to take a shit soon. But anyways, yeah. So what do you think is gonna happen in the second leg?
I think Barcelona is still gonna go through.
I'm gonna say
just because, they're like Barcelona playing at home. Yeah. But I'm gonna say this: if United win, if they pull a PSG and they win, right?
Yeah.
United will win the Champions League.
They're gonna pull Chelsea. They're gonna pull that Di Matteo Chelsea season. You reckon?
Well, I can't really remember what happened that season, but the reason I say that is because United have had all the breaks. If they beat Barcelona, they would have overturned all the odds, right? Like, to get through the group, to win the group, they had that. I think they had that win against Juventus in the group.
In
Turin, right? And then to overcome PSG after being two goals down.
Yeah.
Away goals as well, by the way. Yeah. So to go to Paris and win, right? Yeah. And now they're 1-0 down Barcelona with the away goal.
Yeah.
Right. And they have to go to the new camp and win.
Yeah.
So if United win this tie, I'm gonna put $100 in United win Champions League.
Okay. I think United will go through. But then, you know who United facing next?
Liverpool.
Yeah, they're facing Liverpool. That'll be I
think that's great. Honestly, great. Like, I think in the sense that I think any English club, right, do not want to face another English club in the Champions League. Yeah. I think you would prefer to face a club that's outside of your league.
Yeah. Agreed. I think it'll be very interesting because I think Liverpool would be like, you know what, dump the Champions League. We're going for the league.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
No, it depends on the circumstance, right? Where they are, but like a lot of.
Sorry, you finish.
No, I was just like a lot of Liverpool fans are going like, you know what, fuck it, we got 5 Champions League. We won the league, we want to be
yeah. But they want to beat Man United regardless. So
and then, like, even though the players are all coming out and say, like Salah came out and say, my dream is to win the Champions League. but I'm willing to forego that dream this season to accomplish the Premier League. So it seems like coming out from the Liverpool camp, the Premier League is the main target.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Like, if you ask any Liverpool fan to choose, would you rather win Champions League or the league? People will say, I'd rather win the league.
Yeah. So since we're like that close, we got that side through. So let's keep the semi-final for the semi-final.
Yep.
So I think let's go through everything. So you think that Tottenham? No, you think that City will go through?
Yep.
You think Juventus will go through?
Yes.
You think?
We'll come back to Juventus later. Come back to Juventus.
And you think Barcelona will go through, and you think Liverpool will go through. Yep. I think that Tottenham. Okay, mine's more hopeful. I'm just making it very honest. Like now, I'm just not even really thinking in my brain. I just want this to happen, right? I think Tottenham is going to go through. I think Juventus is going to go through. I think Liverpool is going to go through, no brainer. And I think United have a good shot of going through. Because I don't think this Barcelona team is that great. But anyways, you want to move back to Juventus?
Yeah, because I can see Juventus winning. Because I can see them scoring the away goals that are needed. You
mean Ajax?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. No, that's probably the tightest tie out of like you said.
I'd say that's the tightest tie amongst all of them.
Yeah. I think that's the one where the bookies will have the highest chance to money.
Just because of the way of the matchup. Like the matchup is such an interesting matchup because it's a completely opposite style.
Yeah. If you have the time, Justin, I think it would be really worth it to wake up like for next week's Champions League for both days. It's gonna be. I don't have the time, but I'm just gonna wake up anyways because like this is for me. Now I want to get to the main point, the finishing point. I can't fucking stand it if City wins the quadruple this year. So
I don't think they win the quadruple. I honestly don't think they will. Like,
okay, but minimum, how many cups do you think they're gonna win? I think like Harry told me, he said 3.
I think they win the league. I think they win the league.
So that means, and you think they'll win the FA Cup very likely?
Yeah, it's very likely because they're playing Watford, right?
Yeah, that's the semi, right? No, that's final.
No, that's the final.
Oh yeah, that's final.
Oh, is that the League Cup? I'm not sure which cup.
No. The League Cup is already won. They beat they beat Brighton in the semis. So they're facing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Finals. They beat Chelsea in the League Cup, man, on penalties. That was the match where the keeper Kepa was like, "Oh, I want to play." So fuck no.
Oh yeah. That's right. Well, I mean, winning 3, I don't think is a bad call. Although I think they'll win the league, but I could go on a limb and say they won't. The thing is, I can see them winning the Champions League, but the thing is, I can see them not winning the Champions League as well. Like the Champions League would definitely be the hardest one for them to win, I think.
City is the best team in the world, right? So it's just whether like things will some stars will align for all of them, because you need luck for this to happen, right?
Yeah, you need luck for this to happen.
The best team in the world right now, and then I think Liverpool second. And then that's why you plug Barcelona at third. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting Champions League and the league as well. So this final stretch of football for the Premier League and the Champions League is really, really exciting. Like every weekend, like it's going to be like jam packed with like full of like narratives and like.
Or rather, every week there's like games that matter. And these are not games where it's like, they're like, number 1 is playing number 2, so it matters. No. Even if number 1 is playing like number 20, it's a game that matters. Something.
Yeah, of course. Any drop point can make a difference, whether it be for like the 6th place, United, Chelsea. Remember, we're all writing Chelsea off, and now like look, Chelsea back in. Eden Hazard. Do you see Eden Hazard's goal against West Ham?
Yeah, good goal.
Fuck me.
But Hazard can do that, man. Too bad he's going to Madrid next season.
Is it because he recently came on the post-match conference say like that's not true?
He will definitely go to Madrid next season, man.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to make a bet?
Okay. I don't know if I want to make a bet, but
yeah,
he'll go to Madrid next season.
I think it's very interesting. I think I'll talk to you over the weekend, man. This has been really exciting. I think this has been the most exciting year of football for United fans since Ferguson. I think I would like to think because this is the furthest we've made it in the Champions League.
I mean, I think it's exciting regardless of whether United is involved or not. To be honest.
Yeah, true. And yeah, I think it's a great year for football. So to all the fans, please enjoy it. And I think this is the end of the show. So would you like to do the honors of like saying goodbye to our fans, Justin?
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Goodbye.